In comparison to last video, this is going to be the complete opposite vibe. This is the top 5 most hated things that are not wanted in Borderlands 4, based on things that I don't like and also things that people have said in the comment section on a few previous videos in the past. Welcome to another video, guys. My name is Bflattened, and today, like I mentioned, going over the top 5 things that are not wanted in Borderlands 4. This is in no particular order, so if there's something that seems kind of out of whack, it probably is. The first thing that I do not want is lotto numbers for god rolls, and my example for this is Borderlands 3's class mods. If you remember back in Borderlands 3, class mods were able to split into 3 different styles of skills. Sometimes they would be +3, +1, +1. Sometimes they would be +3, +2. Sometimes +4, +1. And some of them could roll at +5 skills. Now, this is not the only thing that could roll on these class mods, as there were also 3 sub-skills as well, like assault rifle damage, or heavy damage, and go on and so forth. So now you're rolling for 6 potential rolls, and there's also nothing that's really guaranteed on any of these class mods, which means if you get the thing that you want, you might as well go out and buy a lotto ticket, because you're probably rolling for about 1 in a couple billion chance of getting the one that you actually want or need. These lotto numbers are just completely, annoying for especially the casual fan. This also increases things like save editors and also mods to get the ideal roll, which I know a lot of people are not huge fans of. I don't personally mind, especially if we're going to be going into lotto numbers such as that. But I think that mods and save editors would be on the lower end and decrease if these numbers were figured out and done and balanced a lot better. The second thing that I have on this list is forcefully resetting story to play DLC. Now, originally this was not in my top 5 list, however, I did see this on a comment on a recent video, so thanks to that person. I admittedly do not remember the name, but this was a really good one. Now, in previous games, you had to reset the entire main story if you wanted to reset DLCs. Now, the problem that comes from this is items that are exclusive to the DLCs, especially through side missions or main missions. My example in this is the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. I probably butchered that. The Pearl of Knowledge was a really good, I wouldn't say build defining, but I would say was pretty good and splashable artifact on a lot of classes. And you could only get this through the DLC, and trying to reroll for one is super annoying, especially if you don't have read-only on PC. So being able to reset these missions without having to affect your main game story would be really nice. So that is also something on my list of things that I do not want. I want to be able to reset DLC stories freely. The next thing on this list is also kind of tying in with the first one, but this is overpopulated loot pools. Now, overpopulated loot pools is something that I had in my wants list to be able to distribute them better, but I cannot stress this enough that overpopulated loot pools are so damn annoying. When you have 4 dedicated drops to one enemy, not only are you trying to go for your ideal role, like the class mods, for example, but you're also trying to just get the drop in general because it has 4 dedicated drops. Now, character class mod scaling, like if you were Moe's, you could see Moe's class mods more. I do like that. I think that should stay in. It just makes sense. But overpopulated loot pools should be distributed a little bit better, as in maybe 1 to 2 legendaries or dedicated drops per boss. And that's where we kind of dive into number 4, because this is going to help it out too. Number 4 on this list is non-respawning bosses. If you remember in Borderlands 3 at launch, there were rare spawn enemies that would not respawn. They would spawn once a playthrough, and once they were dead on the bounty list, they would not respawn. This was later changed because of the demand of wanting these respawning bosses to come back. And I just cannot understand the thought process for having a boss not respawn, especially when you have overcrowded loot pools and you want to introduce more legendaries like Borderlands 3 did. The pre-sequel also kind of had this problem where bosses would not respawn after you defeated them. Even in main story, I'm sure that they were on the pathway to fixing that, but we never ended up getting that patch due to the shutdown. And for some reason, they bought it back in Borderlands 3, even though it was very unpopular to do. So I think that this is something that I don't want to see just ever again going forward. Make these bosses respawn, distribute the loot pools a lot better, and I think you're going to be having a really successful launch just on that factor alone. And finally on this list, excessive non-skippable dialogue. And what do I mean by that? I mean the talk to Lilith in Borderlands 3. 17 times. Let me stress that again. 17 times you have to talk to Lilith physically on the bridge. Now, we have an echo communicator that we could just completely skip that over. Send it in a PDF, for God's sakes. Just something. Email me. Do echo communicator, something. If you remember in Borderlands 2, a lot of the dialogue that was able to build Handsome Jack up a lot was done not by physically seeing Jack, but over echo communicator. If you remember the dialogue line where he talks about where he takes Roland's echo communicator and he talks about going out for milkshakes, or the spoon and the eyeball voice line, all of this was done while you were able to walk to your next destination just over echo communicator. And I think that that is a missing element that needs to be returning in Borderlands 4 and in the future, because people don't want to physically walk on a really confusing ship, by the way, on launch. It's probably a lot better now for people who've played for a while, but a really confusing ship on launch just to go to talk to Lilith and get the next mission, and then go all the way down to the bottom to be able to travel the first time that you go through there, through that pod. Anyways, that is the 5 things that I do not want to see moving forward into Borderlands 4, and also future versions of the game. If we have a Borderlands 5, Wonderlands 2, what have you, I don't want to see any of these return. I don't know about you guys. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you have as a priority list, and let's go from there. I will see you guys in the next video. My name is Bflattened, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care all. Laters.